All right, this is Algebra 1, Module 4, Lesson 13, solving quadratic equations by completing the square. Number 1, solve the following quadratic equation both by factoring and completing the square. Now, we can't factor that like it is. We could, but we don't want to right now. Because we need it to be equal to 0, right? So how are we going to get this equal to 0? Yeah, let's subtract 3. So we'd have 1/4 x squared minus x minus 3. Now, how would we solve this? By factoring. What are you going to do first? Faith? By factoring. Not completing the square. Let's factor it first. Anybody? We don't like that 1/4 out there, do we? So what are we going to do? How can we get rid of that 1/4? Look at Michael using that. Yeah. All right. Let's multiply through by 4. Everything by 4. So that's going to give us x squared minus 4x minus 12. Now, does that look like something we can do? Let's factor it now by trial and error. Looking at the first term, we got x and x. This sign tells us that our signs are different. So we have a minus and a plus. Now, what can we do to multiply to get 12 that we can also combine and get 4? So 6 and 2, yeah, and since this number is negative, our biggest number needs to be the negative. So, what is your answer? No, because we don't have x yet. What is x? You have to set each one of those equal to 0, right? So x equals 6. X equals -2. Don't forget that. Okay, now let's do it by completing the square. Okay, we have 1/4 x squared minus x, and we're going to keep it as -3 right quick. Now, would anybody like to tell me how to do this by completing the square? Faith, you started to, so go for it. What are you going to do? Faith, you started to tell me how to do it by completing the square. So tell me now. Catherine. Yeah, we got to factor that 1/4 out, right? We don't like it still. We got to bring it out. We got 1/4 x squared minus x minus 3. Okay? But I don't want to do that yet. I don't want to put that yet because I want that outside of my parentheses, right? Y'all remember that? We'll put that outside of our parentheses. Now, what's going to go inside our parentheses? We got to have something to go right here and right here, right? This goes to what Faith was saying. How did you get 1? 1. How did you get 1? And what are we supposed to do? What do we do with that term? Half it, and so what is half of 1? And what is that if we square it? What? Wait a second. Can we do this easier way? How? What if we put it in the same form as we did the other one? Can we do that? No, I'm thinking. Give me a second. Because I don't want to have to work with all these decimals or these fractions. So let's try that. Let's see here. This is Mr. Anderson trial and error here. So we've already got it as x squared minus 4x minus 12, right? That's if we multiply everything through by 4. Is everybody good with that? Now, we have x squared minus 4x. If we half that and square it, what do we get? 4, which we have to do our negative 4, and then our negative 12, right? You like that better? I do. Now, what is our term here? That's going to be x minus, this is where y'all get stuck. What is that term? 2, yeah, that's what we halved, right? Whatever you half is going to go right there every time. Squared, what is that? Minus 16? So how on earth did we get negative 2 and 6? How are we going to do that? No. What do we do here? Anybody? Nobody? Right. We got to solve for x, right? How did you solve? What's something we do to solve for x here? Yeah, let's add 16. So we'd have x minus 2 squared equals 16. Move it to the other side, right? Now if we square root both sides, get rid of this squared, we would get x minus 2 equals square root of 16. Square root of 16. 4. 4 times 4 is 16. Now we can say x. Now remember, when we square root something, this is plus or minus, right? Right? So let's move the 2 to the other side, and that is 2 plus or minus 4. Well, what's x Or what is 2 plus 4? What is 2 plus 4? 6. What is 2 minus 4? Looky there. We got the same thing by factoring or completing the square. Jordan. All right. Which method do you prefer to solve this problem? Factoring. Yes, every time it should be factoring. Remember, I hated completing the square in school. Now it doesn't bother me so much because I'm a little bit used to it. But because it just takes practice, just over and over and over until you get comfortable. Just like I about messed up there, where I factored out that 1/4. I shouldn't have done that. I should have just wrote it the same way we had already manipulated the formula. It just takes a little bit of getting used to.